Now
on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:06 on a Friday morning in the nation's capital. We're in love because it's Friday, and that's the cure for whatever ails you.
That's right.
Sometimes I annoy myself. Coming up at 8:05, Sean Spicer. Sean Spicer, who knows a thing or two about big boy press conferences. He will join us at 8:35. Emily Miller is covering the Alec Baldwin manslaughter case out in Santa Fe. I'm Larry O'Connor. That's Patrice Onwuka. It's Friday. Are you in love?
I am. Happy Friday, everybody.
There you go. And that's the cure. All right. So all eyes were on Joe Biden last night, and we've got plenty of this big boy press conference to lay out for you. The bottom line here is he knocked it out of the park. A+, absolutely terrific performance. I've never seen a president look more presidential and in command of all of his faculties and every fact and bit of minutia that is necessary to fully and capably carry out the duties of the President of the United States.
Okay, now let's talk about Joe Biden.
I almost made it. I almost made it through, but I couldn't. I had to crack. All right, if you saw this, if you have an opinion on it, love to hear from you at 888-630-9625. You want to give him a grade? I gave him an A+. What grade do you give him, Patrice?
C-.
Okay, well, that's passing. That
it's
is a passing grade. I know that for a fact. I have plenty of C-minuses in my past.
There you go. It's passing.
All right. Well, there you go. Listen, it didn't start out well for Joe Biden. Even before the press conference began, he was closing out the NATO summit, and he introduced Vladimir Zelensky, the Churchill of our time. And here's how that went.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
You know, his brain is broken. It doesn't function as designed, as we know.
Who was that loud clapper? Who very well knew that that was so wrong.
President Putin.
Listen, everybody hears this and they think, well, either, okay, that's Biden's brain broken, or if they really want to be, considerate and bend over backwards to give him the benefit of the doubt, everybody has moments like that. Who among us hasn't done that? Except for the fact that Putin has been equated with Hitler for the last 10 years. So, you keep telling us he's Hitler, and then you just want to write it off that you accidentally called somebody Hitler. Who accidentally calls anybody Hitler? Nobody. No. But it has to be said, I'm sorry if it's a cliche, but if Trump had done that?
Oh, the world would have blown up.
The world would have blown
up.
Of course.
Look, yeah, there are times when you can make a mistake, but Biden was under too heavy a microscope last night to have made such a big gaffe. That was a really big error. He caught himself. He did catch himself, and kind of cleaned it up. But no.
All right. We have become so numb, and we have lowered the bar so much, and the media is in such a desperate strait right now to come up with any solution so that Donald Trump doesn't win the election, because they are so angry and bitter and terrified at the American voter for being more than happy to have Trump come back into the White House, that they are grasping at straws, and they might show up this morning and say, well, okay, that was good enough. Let's just suck it up, everybody. All of the op-eds and all of the commentary from the last several weeks where they've exposed the cover-up that they've engaged in, because Biden now is not gracefully exiting the stage. That's what they were hoping for. Yes. Their whole hope was, if we put up enough pressure and send enough messages that he's lost us, then he'll gracefully leave the stage so it doesn't have to get ugly. He's not doing that. And so now the media either has to make it get ugly and have it be a bloodbath, or they're going to have to suck it up and basically go back on everything that they've been saying for the last several weeks and just say, oh, never mind, everything's fine now. We got it wrong that time. We'll see how they go. My guess is they're going to do the latter. They're going to suck it up and just sort of, turn the attention back to Trump. Yes, but Trump. Yes, but Trump. Yes, but Trump. Yes, but Project 2025. Yes, but fascism. And look at how the calendar lays out. This is over now. Trump will go off to Delaware and rest again and get injected with God knows what. Biden will. Trump's about to announce his running mate. Then the
Yes.
Republican National Convention will take place, and there will be a huge amount of attention there. And the media will be able to spend their time lying about Republicans, lying about Project 2025, and lying to the American people about Trump and claiming that he's a fascist and he's the next Hitler and it's the end of democracy. And then it's the Olympics. So we'll have a whole stretch where everybody's focusing on, gymnastics and track and field and swimming. And
So
then
President Biden can take a little bit of a break.
hell yes, absolutely. Jill will go over there to lead the American contingent at the opening and closing ceremonies, Hunter in tow, so Hunter can make more deals with Kazakhstan. And then by that time, it's weeks later of different news cycles that the media can ignore. And then we'll see what Biden does at the convention. But honestly, I think they've bought enough time to have to suck it up and take Biden, even though they know that it's a real long shot here. But here's the headline coming for you: Comeback Kid. Biden's the greatest political comeback in American history.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm glad Sean will be on, Sean Spicer, a little bit later, because on Monday he asked us whether or not Biden would survive by the end of the RNC, and we both said no, we didn't think so.
That's correct.
But I think your assessment seems to be changing. I think mine is changing too. I still think I don't think Biden is going to be on the ticket, but will he be around by the end of next week? He probably will, unless something really egregious happens. He's lost the media at this point, and I don't think they could just come right back. Has he lost Obama, and has he lost
Pelosi.
lost Pelosi? Yeah. Those are the two keys.
Well, because they're connected to the funders.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if the funders say, I'm not writing another check, it's over.
For anybody, not just for Joe Biden, for anybody down ballot, then it is over.
And if Obama, and that's all Obama. You have to understand, the two biggest fundraisers that Biden has held, Obama's been by his side. There's a reason for that. Obama is connected to the money. Follow the money always in politics. And if Obama tells Biden there's no more money, then it's over. But here's what's going to happen. He's not going to leave gracefully. So
no,
either way, if Biden has to be removed from the ticket, it's going to be ugly. May I use the word? Bloodbath. That's what it'll be. All right, let's start with Andrew in Manassas. Andrew, we're giving Joe Biden grades for last night's big boy press conference. What do you think?
Well, I think you took my entire call.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry, Andrew. No, that's not true. We want to hear it from you. You will make it your own.
No, but I totally agree. I was tweeting out earlier that they're a victim of timing. They thought they had this thing timed out between the conviction, and then it was going to be the debate, and then it was going to be the sentencing, and Trump was toast. And the timing all got flipped on their head. And right after the debate, then, of course, the sentencing went away. The conviction never worked. And now they've got 3 weeks of other news stories, and Biden can just hide under a rock, which we all know, hiding Biden. That's how you got through 20, hiding Biden.
Hiding Biden, indeed. Yeah, I think you're right.
And then after that, what are they going to do? They're going to be a week from the convention and go, yeah, we're going to switch them out now.
Yeah, no, they're definitely up against it here. And, listen, they're still, as I mentioned, and Andrew, thank you for the call. You were great. And no one stole anyone's thunder. You were great. One item that is noteworthy is that another congressman, the 15th now out of the House of Representatives, a Democrat, and the ranking member on the House Intel Committee, after the press conference, made his public statement that Joe Biden needs to step off the ticket. So it means
it wasn't, last night was not convincing enough for him and others.
And if you remember Nancy Pelosi's jabbering, it's his decision to make. She pointed out, I've told the members that I need them to at least wait through the end of NATO. Let's get through NATO. Let's not undermine Biden during NATO. Well, NATO's over now. So let's see what happens. 7:15. More of your calls. 888
WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Live
from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios.
Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Miss anything? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Get today's breaking news on the Vince Colonnese Show, weekdays 3 to 6, right here on WMAL.
We can play you more of this Big Boy press conference if you're so inclined. My favorite parts, I don't know, what do we like better? The brain freeze moment where he has to take a very long, awkward pause to either remember what he was supposed to say or quite possibly listen to whatever is being told to him in his earpiece that we are not sure he was wearing or not? Do we want that, or do we want the whispering moments? What do you like, Patrice?
His Vice President Trump.
Oh, the Vice President Trump part is pretty good, too. That's right. Yeah. Do we even have that one? We do? Let's hear it.
Looks like we do.
Harris's ability to beat Donald Trump if she were at the top of the ticket.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
I think that
like
was
that one.
That was the first response of the press conference, too, where everybody was like, oh, here we go.
Setting the tone for the rest of the night. He managed to salvage himself from that one.
There are some great memes out there showing Kamala Harris and Vladimir Zelensky, and the headline is, here's Vice President Trump meeting President Putin for the first time. Let's go to the whispering, shall we? Yes?
Okay.
All right. So where did whispering go? I had whispering. Where did it go? Oh, sorry. I'm looking at all of the various options that we have.
Oh, what is it?
Let's start with. Let's do the brain. Let's do the brain freeze first. Cut 9 is where he either is stopping to think of what he was supposed to say, or he's listening to the person in his ear. Cut 9.
Go deal with Putin and Xi 2 or 3 years from now.
I'm ready to deal with them now and 3 years from now. Look, like I said, I'm dealing with Xi right now and direct contact with him.
Yeah, see, that's disturbing. That's disturbing.
Yeah. It's like he wanted to give a really great explanation, and it just vanished from his mind. And all he could say, well, okay, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how awkward that was.
Dead air is not good. And
no,
again,
it's not.
I just want you to know that everyone who's saying, well, it wasn't that bad, this is what they consider to be passable and just fine and acceptable.
That's why he got a C- rating in my books, yeah.
Look at cut 15 now, where Mr. Creepy Whisper Dude comes back.
You earlier explained confidence in your vice president.
Yes.
If your team came back and showed you data that she would fare better against former President Donald Trump, would you reconsider your decision to stay in the race?
No, unless they came back and said, there's no way you can win. Me. No one's saying that. No poll says that.
Okay. God, why does he do that? Again, these are all symbols that there's something not quite right there.
Can we just stop to appreciate how much ego is on display, how he displayed his ego? It's not what's best for the country or even my party winning. It is me winning. Okay,
That's
sorry.
Right.
I just wanted
That's
to
okay. No, don't ever be sorry. Denise in Bethesda. Denise, what did you see? What grade would you give the president for his big boy press conference?
Good morning, Larry and Patrice. I would give him a D-. I would give him a D-, but I would give whoever is running things at the White House, the fact that somebody has labeled this a, quote, big boy press conference and said it from the podium and attached that label to the President of the United States, of the office of President, is absolutely shameful and just shows how far we've fallen. For God's sake, somebody please pull this man off the podium and stop trying to gaslight the American people that this man is in control of his faculties.
Yeah.
Well said, Denise. And you're 100% right. It is so it's so diminishing of the office, and and emasculating to constantly say big boy
right.
press conference. Not to mention the fact that this wasn't a big boy press conference. First of all, there were teleprompters there, and I want to know why there were teleprompters. Number two, he had an index card of the pre-approved reporters to call on.
Yep.
That's not... No, a press conference is you stand there and you field questions from anyone in the press who has a question. Just like we saw Donald Trump do literally every day during the pandemic, and at multiple times with the full press gallery there, where he would answer questions for over an hour until there were no more questions. I mean, frankly, as a Trump supporter, I was hoping he would cut off some of those press conferences.
Well,
Stop giving them fuel. Stop talking. Take a break. Those are big boy press conferences. These were not grown-up pants the president was wearing yesterday. They were underalls.
Let's not forget they were underoos. Training pants.
Thank you. Yes, underoos.
Let's not forget that President Trump's his pressers were much watched TV for much of his administration, where he would take questions for what seemed like an hour, and everyone was tuned in to see what would be asked and how he would respond. Joe Biden, he can't go toe to toe. And by the way, given that we've seen news about his campaign sending interviewers questions and then approving the responses later or asking for edited versions, I think that a lot of those questions asked yesterday were probably pre-approved and maybe pre-written by the campaign.
That should be the only assumption that we have right now, the way this press corps works and
Prove
the way
me
this White
wrong.
House works. Cut 10 here, Michael, if we could. Cut 10, Joe Biden.
And so tomorrow, if all of a sudden I show up at the convention, everybody says we want somebody else, that's the democratic process. It's not going to happen.
Everything's fine, everybody. All right, we'll take your calls. 888-630-9625. Give your grade to Joe Biden on his big boy press conference.
Now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
Let's get right to it. 888-630-9625. Give your grade on Biden's big boy press conference, which wasn't in any way an actual press conference and, frankly, not very big boy. Not even like Bob's or Elias Brothers big boy. I mean, it wasn't Denny's, let alone big boy. Coming up at 8:05, Sean Spicer, 8:35, Emily Miller on the Alec Baldwin case. Switching gears here, cut 19, actually, I want to start with. He was asked about polling during this press conference, and he said something curious. Listen.
How accurate does anybody think the polls are these days? I can give you a series of polls where you have likely voters, me versus Trump, where I win all the time.
There you go.
When
so don't believe those polls. And I'm seeing yeah, exactly. It's none of the public polls, so that means that he's being shown polls by private pollsters to say, "Oh, you're going to win." Rachel Maddow, of all people, picked up on that. Listen, cut 18, Rachel Maddow.
The reality about polling numbers for incumbent presidents and the real history of that versus what President Biden said, which was not actually factually accurate as far as I can tell. That's worrying because it makes me worry that the president is being given information about his political standing that may not be based in reality, that may be sunnier than is real.
Yeah.
So he's lying and he's being lied to. He's lying to us and he's being lied to. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Listen, speaking of lies, let's just be clear on everything that you're going to see and all the spin that you're going to see today that I'm anticipating. This has been quite possibly the biggest political cover-up in American history, setting aside maybe things that we still don't know about the Kennedy assassination, frankly, although I don't think that was, what Oliver Stone thinks it was, but clearly we still have not gotten information over 60 years later about that story. The president is incapacitated and has been for quite some time, maybe all the way back to the election, where the media covered for him, lied about him, continue to cover up and lie about him, along with elected officials, along with people who were in the White House. It was just 3 weeks ago, a week before the debate, where we were being told how sharp he was behind closed doors, how no one has a master and command of the facts and ideas the way Joe Biden does. That is obviously a lie. The media loves lying. For everyone who says, "Oh, look at how reporters are finally caring about the truth." They're not caring about the truth.
Yeah.
They're caring right now about all the other lies. They want to be able to move on to the lie. Here, the deal that the media makes with Democrats who hold elected office is, if you're really good at lying, we got you, man. You just stay good at it. They used to praise Bill Clinton for being so good at lying. They marveled at it, right? Barack Obama, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. That's something that was easily discoverable at the time.
Yes.
Ted Cruz, Senator Cruz said, I've read this thing. You're not going to keep your doctor, guys. But the media loved keeping up the lie because Obama maintained the lie and was credible with the lie. And they'll do that right up until the moment it's not credible anymore. The Wuhan lab leak, right? Fauci was out there saying there's no truth to it. It's a conspiracy theory. In fact, it's racist. And the media was like, that's right. It's racist to say that COVID came from the Wuhan lab. It's as if it's not racist to say that it's because Chinese people eat bat soup. That's pretty racist. But no, it's racist to say it came from the Wuhan lab. And they were fine maintaining that until they couldn't maintain it anymore. And then they immediately just say, all right, let's get rid of this now because we've got all these other lies that we have to prop up. The media is not interested in the truth. The media is interested in maintaining all the lies that they have to prop up all at the same time. It's hard. You talk to any person who deals with a chronic liar, and it's a nightmare because there's so many things that they have to maintain at all times. It wears on you. So that's what we're witnessing right now. Not a media that is interested. If they were interested in the truth, yesterday we would have had questions about about Parkinson's disease.
Yes,
we would have had questions about it being 9 months since there was a cabinet meeting. We would have had questions about the fact that even when they do have a cabinet meeting, everything is scripted and prearranged and pre-approved, so there's not an actual meeting taking place. It's a scripted play. We would have
questions about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden attending cabinet meetings or serious meetings that the president is having. Why didn't we hear about that last night?
If we had a press corps interested in facts and the truth, we would have had questions about all of that. We didn't have any of that. What we had was a press corps trying to either salvage whatever last remnants of this lie they've been participating in, or just trying to get rid of this and do away with it and move past it, pretending, like Jake Tapper, pretending every day that he's outraged and shocked to learn that the media has been manipulated so that they can continue manipulating you. Don't be fooled by any of this.
Oh, it's when Jake Tapper threw down his papers and discussed yesterday, oh, they've just been lying to us. I thought about Russia hoax. I thought about the Hunter Biden laptop. I mean, you could go down the line. I thought about Charlottesville. They're good people on both sides. There are so many lies that they have maintained over the years, knowing good well that they were lies even back then.
That would have been a great question. Why wouldn't a reporter yesterday say, Mr. President, you started your campaign in 2020 claiming that the reason you were running was because Donald Trump said there were good people on both sides of Charlottesville. Snopes, left-wing liberal activist fact-checking website, has now debunked that and said that is false. And yet you still repeated it at the debate 2 weeks ago. Why do you continue to repeat this lie? Now, why did that question not get asked at the press conference yesterday? Because every single reporter in that room participated in that lie.
They do.
So if they call Joe Biden out on the lie, they're exposing themselves as the liars.
You know, not everybody. There are a few good organizations out there that were in. Peter Ducey was there. Peter Ducey is one of the few. He didn't get asked, exactly. Right. I'm sure there's,
Your call's next on this press conference and the lies, but I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Oh yeah,
everyone.
Please do.
Don't buy the spin you're getting today. This is all an attempt to continue the lie that the media has participated in. They should all, as Molly Hemingway has said, they should all step down in shame if they had any level of dignity, but they don't. They're reporters. It's 7:43. 888-630 WMAL. Cut 8 real fast here. Another moment of Biden from his big boy press conference. Cut 8.
I love my staff, but they add things all the time. At the very end, I'm catching hell from my wife for that. Anyway. All right, Maggie.
Staff, is that KJP? No, I'm just.
I don't know. Maggie in Winchester, what do you think of the president's performance yesterday? It's amazing what a low bar we have because I found him creepy and unstable and incoherent. But what do you think?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to actually watch it. I work until like 8 o'clock at night. But from everything I've heard, I would give him probably a D- rating.
Okay.
But my biggest concern right now is I don't think he's physically going to make it until the election. I think he's going to have some sort of air quote accident or physical biological failure, and they're going to, try to slip somebody else in as an emergency replacement.
You say air quote accident as if Hillary Clinton might have something to do with this, Maggie. Is that what you're suggesting? I understand.
Thank you, Maggie.
Yes.
How about Lori in Michigan? Because we are America's morning show. Good morning, Lori, from the great Wolverine State. What do you think?
I would be reaching to give him a D. It was just lie after untruth after.
That's true. Boy, the fact checkers sure took the night off. Yeah.
And not only that, but one thing I did notice when I saw clips on Gutfeld last night is his eyes. You can't tell me he wasn't propped up on something because usually you can't tell Joe Biden from Jeff Dunham's Walter character. Their eyes are so
with the squinty,
together.
yeah, exactly, with the squinty sort of Clint Eastwood thing. Instead, he had the wide-eyed look of a fair-eyed princess.
Yeah.
You're right, Lori.
Yeah.
All right, thank you
Thanks,
for that
Lori.
call. By the way, go Blue or go Sparty?
Oh, Blue! Come on,
baby, go Blue. Amen. It's 7:53.